Navigating a career pivot in today's job market feels like fitting a square-shaped peg in a round hole. I'd love to hear your thoughts on executing a professional change in an era of digital recruiting and networking. When companies increasingly rely on finding talent with exact experience matches, how do you network effectively and engage new contacts to share your specific interests and transferable skills? How do you build a personal brand demonstrating your commitment to a new field and highlighting your qualifications that match opportunities in a less traditional manner? In a recent conversation with a recruiter, I encountered a challenge many face, being reduced to a few keywords on a resume while the breadth of our experience goes unnoticed. How do we break through these barriers? This interaction started with a generic LinkedIn message that I seemed to be a good fit for a position he was hiring for. I figured there was no issue taking the call, so I set up the conversation. As expected from his initial ambiguous role description, it was absolutely not what I was looking for. However, I attempted to use the conversation to gain insights into my profile and get a professional's perspective on my desired career change. The result of the conversation was enlightening, unsurprising, and honestly disheartening. He literally said that to make his job easy, he sought individuals who had an exact experience match for the role. He said, quote, he was looking for round pegs to fit into a round hole. My profile and resume confused him as I highlighted the range of my experience. I should note he sent me extremely limited information on the job, so I sent him a more generic resume that I customized for specific positions. After doing my best to be a good feedback receiver, listening without just hanging up the phone on why my resume wasn't making his life easy, I asked why he reached out to me in the first place. He said it was because on my profile I said Clorox and pet care, and I had a technical degree. That was it. Despite all the effort I've put into creating a personal brand and sharing the diversity of my skills and experience, I was distilled to one line in education, one company name, and one industry. Throughout our call, it became clear the recruiter wasn't looking at my breadth of experience, just buzzwords. It's a stark reminder of how today's job market often values a perfect match over a diverse skill set. This conversation didn't just highlight a personal challenge, it revealed the systemic issue and how we view experience and potential. The more I interact with the LinkedIn recruiting community, the more I understand the laziness with which increasing data is utilized. Companies are more dedicated to poaching experience rather than investing in individual development. There are several challenges to this model. First, I could quote McKinsey studies that I've shared previously on the financial impact of vacancies and inefficiency of hiring as the primary strategy rather than investing in training, engagement, and retaining talent. Secondly, looking for round pegs misses out on talent who bring many transferable skills, excitement, and commitment to new roles and companies. It's the diversity of experiences and skills that actually drives innovation and creativity. Rather than circles, we should all be striving to be star-shaped pegs, and companies should be excited to find these stars. Professional diversity allows us to avoid the cliche, whenever we're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. But how do we do that? We become an experience and skill tool chest. I love David Epstein's book, Range, which examines the value of diverse experiences to provide more creative solutions while gaining a stronger sense of your skills and passions. How many of you knew exactly who you would become and what you would enjoy professionally at age 18 when you selected your college major? How many of you nailed your career path with that first job out of school? How does that compare to the current job market and recruiting expectations of finding someone with a linear path of clear experience that fits precisely into a role? More importantly, how does experience indicate passion and interest in continuing to do that job? How many of you want a recruiter to highlight 4 words from your past to advance you towards a future opportunity? Demonstrating range, I've recognized the value of diverse experience in assessing a problem from various perspectives. I've realized that the skill that challenges recruiters to understand me are the exact traits that highlight my unique value proposition. My recent experience actually highlights this, as working with different study groups in my EMBA program, I've become a chameleon, adapting my role to provide the missing skills and experience. On a team with a strong vision and direction but no structure, be the project manager. On a team with all project managers, be the creative. Working with a nonprofit of scientists and educators launching a new product, be the marketer and strategic visionary. To hiring managers, are you just thinking, we've got all these nails, we need a really specific hammer? Or are you considering the opportunity to bring diverse perspectives to your organization? Are you looking for someone who just fits the mold? Or are you open to the unique value a candidate with diverse experiences can bring? Are you ready to hire a star and not just another round peg? As Range teaches, the best value is engaging divergent thinking and creativity to solve your problems, leveraging transferable skills. Are you engaging your recruiting team to be open to finding such candidates, or are you telling your recruiting team to find a hammer with 10 years of experience with similar nails? Back to me, I agree that my actual career history isn't a beautiful round peg that perfectly fits the description of my desired roles, particularly when I incorporate the various side hustles that I seek to bring to the forefront, unifying my vision of where my career goes next. Within Range, Epstein discusses the role of polymaths, or individuals with diverse experiences who can bring alternative perspectives to solve problems more creatively. He references an analogy that I've used for years, the difference between T and I-shaped people. I-shaped individuals have depth in a single area and are absolutely critical to companies. However, the inclusion of individuals with diverse experiences and interests brings new ideas and approaches. Here's a quick clip from Epstein.
The more we work in a rapidly changing world where we're not exactly sure what we should do next or what work will look like next year, in 5 years or 10 years, the more we want those people who have had a broad view and can kind of draw on different stores of knowledge.
In Range, he also references Abby Griffin's book, Serial Innovators. Griffin directly highlights the challenge of HR at established firms, seeing polymaths and serial innovators as round pegs for square holes. Their experiences don't fit the position's rubric. She says, a mechanistic approach to hiring, while yielding highly reproducible results, in fact, reduces the number of high potential candidates. From the applicant side, when you're star-shaped, and every position is a round hole, you inherently have one of two problems. Situation 1, you have too much experience, and your star is too big to fit into the hole. Even if I find the perfect lower level position, that means convincing someone that I actually want that job. I'm willing to ignore aspects of my skill and experience and work my way up again. On the recruiter or hiring manager side, the challenge is that initial reaction of, what's wrong with this person? They're way overqualified. On paper, they'd be a better fit for something else, and they're not in the traditional mold of what I'm looking for. When I'm coaching someone early in their career considering going to grad school, I advise them that they're potentially making their future life difficult. While more education unlocks new opportunity, it potentially eliminates lower qualification positions, or at the very least, requires a hiring manager with vision. Since hiring is a huge resource sink, this illustrates the round peg challenge and overcoming lazy recruiters who have one description in mind. This is part of my current challenge. As I seek opportunities in business leadership, strategy, and marketing in consumer-facing industries, I have this weird PhD in chemistry hanging out there based on 22-year-old me's vision of what my future was. I was correct at the time, and without that experience, I'm not who I am today. However, a couple of decades later, that doesn't fit with my current narrative, creating a weird star shape. The second circular hole scenario is that there are skill gaps. You've demonstrated many skills, but there's lack of experience for the correct level. The desired position is more of a stretch and requires the hiring manager to lean in and recognize the capabilities of an individual to quickly learn position gaps to be effective. This gets back to my conversation with the recruiter and defaults for most hiring managers. My observation is that the overwhelming majority of positions place all the emphasis on matched experience. Why is this? This is the joke among entry-level hires, that these starter roles require exact experience to be considered. Job postings are written as a wish list of all qualifications, even to the point of absurdity. This tweet from Sebastian Ramirez highlights the issue. He writes, I saw a job post the other day. It required 4+ years of experience in Fast API. I couldn't apply because I only have 1.5 years of experience since I created the thing. As a manager, I learned this firsthand, as I once inherited an individual on my team with over 7 years of experience. However, that individual had entry-level skills. Evaluating their work history further, we uncovered that across several different companies, their experience was the same lower-level skills over and over and hadn't advanced to higher-level capabilities. Years of experience isn't skill level, and lack of exact experience isn't necessarily indicative of no skill in that area. To share one other career pivot story, a few years ago, Clorox held a career week, which was incredibly inspiring. They featured several roundtable conversations, including individuals from all levels. A few senior leaders shared their diverse career paths and repeatedly highlight the role of pivoting and developing range for their long-term success. As I reflect on those executives, I'm hesitant to put the label that it was an entirely different time. However, there probably is some truth to the difference in the job market that the automated processes that have made searching for perfect circles easier and screening out stars simpler. I also recognize the significant role luck plays in each of our careers. Regarding luck, I've become obsessed with the actionability of this quote attributed to the Roman philosopher Seneca. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. That thought provides two dimensions of actionability in a seemingly uncontrollable desire to get professionally lucky. We can each assess our interests and our capabilities across those two dimensions. Are you lacking in preparation for your desired role or opportunity? This also highlights the importance of clearly defining what you want professionally to understand potential preparation requirements. The more significant challenge is likely opportunity. How do we get recruiters or hiring managers to take the time to get to know us? We can identify them as someone connected to our desired future roles, but how do we get their attention? I've written countless LinkedIn messages seeking to connect and ask for a brief 15-minute conversation to seek their advice on executing my career pivot, hoping to gain a connection and insights and create potential awareness of this guy interested in their future circle opportunities. So what are your recommendations? How are you searching to fill your circles? How are you writing your positions? And are you falling into the experience equals skill issue? What would it take for you to consider a star? If a potential star reaches out with a genuine interest, how do you engage? Or what should someone say to help facilitate openness to share your perspective? I can't wait to hear your personal advice in the comments or feel free to reach out to me privately. I'd love to hear what you have to say to help both my current search and compile these ideas to provide for others trying to do the same thing. We should encourage individuals to understand themselves and grow in new professional directions to drive creativity and diversity. We need to overcome laziness and fill organizations with individuals energized to set them and our future organizations up for greater commitment and success. In a world full of round holes, it's time to start valuing star-shaped pegs. Let's have a conversation about how we can change the narrative. Thanks so much for listening, and I look forward to continuing this conversation together.